Hi, I'm Dennis Lott, the 2009 Aero Back on the Road winner. Talk to you a little bit about the freight rates. Lately, here in the last couple of years, they've been going up and down just like fuel. But here the van freight lately has been pretty consistent. We've been getting some really good rates. As in flatbed, it's more of a seasonal, and but the rates have been up because of some of the tragedies that we've had with tornadoes in the south. So the rates have been pretty good, but they're kind of slowing down right now. The refrigerated load board has been pretty good. A lot of refrigerated freight, not just produce, but your frozen foods. So those rates have been pretty steady here. But a lot of it is load planning. Where do you want to run? You know, what kind of loads do you want? The long haul runs where it takes maybe 2 or 3 days versus the short haul where you may get the same rate and you can knock that load out in 1 day and make a little bit more money instead of taking 2 or 3 days of being tied up with a load. I prefer to run the short runs to where I can knock out a load a day instead of versus being hooked up to a load where I'm tied up for a day or 2 days. So just plan your routes, where you want to run. Watch the freight index boards. They're going to tell you where the hot areas are for freight, and work those areas where you like to run. And if you don't like running the East Coast, you know, that's not a good place for you to run because the rates are good going to the East Coast, the rates are bad coming back. So you got to consider your tolls, the price of fuel out there. So all that goes into, you know, choosing the correct freight that you're going to run as an owner-operator. And me personally, I like the dry van freight because it's not as much work as the flatbedders because you're chaining, you're tarping, and that could just add on to your expenses. And for me, it's just a little cheaper for me to run the van freight for the area that I live in and the area that I like to run in. Another thing we can talk about with freight rates is how you're paid. Paid by the mile or paid by percentage. I prefer percentage because, again, I'm going to get a little bit more per mile on what that load's paying. I know they're paying off of the mileage that they quote the customer instead of getting possibly short miles being paid by a company that pays mileage. So the percentage loads works out a lot better for me. Some other people, it's better that they get the per mile pay because they stay in maybe a short area to where they're not going all over the country. They run the short loads. So it's up to you. I prefer percentage over mileage, and it works out real good for me.